Assalamu alaikum. How are you, dear students? Welcome to the channel, The Physics Gurus. So, the topic which we were discussing was the definitions of IGCSE and O-level physics related to the syllabus 2022. So, in part 1, we have discussed the definitions related with the unit number 1, physical quantities, units and measurements, and then unit number 2, that is kinematics. In this video, that is part 2, we will discuss the definitions related with unit number 3, that is dynamics, and then unit number 4, that is mass, weight and density. So let's start the discussion of definition related with unit number 3, that is dynamics. Okay, see. In this unit, the first definition is the definition of Newton's second law of motion, that when net force acts on a body, then it produces an acceleration in the body in the direction of net force. This acceleration is directly proportional to the net force and is inversely proportional to the mass of the body. And the equation related to Newton's second law of motion is F is equal to ma, where F stands for force, m stands for mass, and a stands for acceleration. Now, from this equation, F is equals to ma, we can write the formula of acceleration. A is equals to F over m. And from here, you can see that acceleration and the force relation is there, as well as acceleration and the mass relation is there. So according to this, force and acceleration are directly proportional to each other. Mass and acceleration are inversely proportional to each other. So when force increases, acceleration also increases, and when force decreases, acceleration also decreases, while when mass increases, acceleration decreases, and when mass decreases, acceleration increases. Then here comes the definition of Newton's third law of motion. Although it has some sort of old definition that action and reaction are equal in magnitude but opposite in direction, that definition is also acceptable, but the technical definition of the Newton's third law of motion is this, that when an object A exerts a force on object B, that is termed as action, then object B also exerts the same but opposite force on the object A, and which is called as reaction. Again, I am going to repeat the definition. So when object A exerts the force on the object B, which is considered as action, and then object B exerts an equal but opposite force on the object A, is called as reaction. So these two forces are equal in magnitude but opposite in direction, and this is related with the Newton's third law of motion. A very important point related with the Newton's third law of motion, that Newton's third law describes pair of forces of the same type acting on different objects. There will be object number 1 and there will be object number 2. Then here comes the definition of friction. The force which impedes opposes the motion of the body. It means friction is a force and it always opposes the movement or the motion of the body. And definitely friction always occurs when body moves. If the body is at rest, there will be no friction. So friction always occurs when body is in motion, and it always opposes the motion of the body. Let's suppose if body is moving or traveling towards the right side, then friction will definitely act to the left side of the direction of motion. Then here comes another definition, that is centripetal force. The force acting on the body moving in a circular path. Let's suppose if a body is moving like this, then this type of motion is called as circular motion, and the force acting on the body is called as centripetal force. and this centripetal force always acts towards the center of the circle. So, and it is denoted by Fc. So centripetal force is denoted by Fc, and its formula is mv square over r. Then here comes the definitions of thinking distance, braking distance, and stopping distance. Thinking distance is the distance covered by the body before applying the brakes or before driver reacts to apply the brakes. So this is the distance. Definitely car is in motion and it is covering the distance. And when we see a hazard, then we have to decide whether we have to apply the brakes or not. During that decision making, the car is still or the body is still covering the distance, and that distance is called as thinking distance. So the distance covered by the body before applying the brakes is called as thinking distance. Then here comes the definition of braking distance. Now the distance covered by the body after applying the brakes till it stops. As soon we have started applying the brakes, the braking distance starts till the body stops. So thinking distance is the distance before we apply the brakes, and braking distance is the distance after applying the brakes or brakes are being applied until the body stops. And then stopping distance. Stopping distance is the sum of thinking distance plus braking distance. And from this diagram, it is clear that stopping distance is equal to the thinking distance and braking distance sum. So here you can write that the stopping distance is equal to thinking distance plus braking distance. Then we will move towards the definition of unit number 4, that is mass, weight, and density. The mass is the measure of quantity or amount of matter in the object. So quantity of matter in an object or amount of matter in an object is called mass. Mass is denoted by small m and its unit is kg. We have already studied the equation of Newton's second law of motion, that is F equals to ma, and from here we can write the formula of mass, that is m is equal to F over a. So if force is given, acceleration is given, then we can calculate mass. And the mass remains same everywhere. It does not change by changing the location. Then the definition of inertia becomes the property of a body due to which it resists any change in its state of rest or motion. What does it mean? That if a body is in the state of rest and we want to make it move, then it will oppose the motion and will try to remain in the state of rest. Or if the body is in the state of motion and we want to stop it, then it will continue its motion and will resist the stopping process. Inertia depends on the mass of the body. Larger the mass, larger will be the inertia of the body. Smaller will be the mass, smaller will be the inertia of the body. Larger will be the mass, it will be difficult to move or to stop the body, and smaller will be the mass, it is easy to move or stop the body. Then here comes another definition, which is very important definition, and the definition is related with the term weight. The force of gravity, it's mean the force of earth acting on the body, or the pull of gravity acting on the body is called weight. And the formula of weight is equals to W is equal to mg. W stands for weight, M stands for mass, and G stands for gravitational field strength or gravitational acceleration as well. Then here comes the definition of gravitational field. Gravitational field, let's suppose if this is the earth, then earth, and when we are going to throw any object in the air, then definitely gravity will pull back this object on the surface of the earth. And then there is a particular space or particular region within which earth can attract the bodies towards itself. So that region or space in which a mass experience of force due to gravitational acceleration. So how we can write this definition? We know the formula W is equal to mg, and from here we can write the formula G is equals to W over m. So the space or region in which mass experiences a force due to gravitational acceleration or gravitational attraction. Okay, then gravitational field strength. Now this is the formula G is equal to W over m. Now from here we can write the definition. W stands for weight, and weight is a force. So force per unit mass is called as gravitational field strength, and its formula G is equal to W over m, and its unit is Newton per kg. The last point of this unit is the definition of density. And what is the definition of the density? Mass per unit volume is called as density, and its formula is rho is equal to m over v, or density is equal to mass over volume. And the unit of density is kilogram per cubic meter. We can write it like this, or we can also write it like this. So I hope so that now you are able to understand the definition related with the unit number 4, mass, weight, and density, as well as the definition related with unit number 3, that is dynamics. So all the best to all of you for your exams, and see you in the next part. Thank you very much. Assalamu alaikum.